Okay, so I just want to take a second to look at Kinich in this, and the main reason I'm doing this is because he actually performs a lot better in this type of AoE than I would have expected him to. I normally would not. I would have just been like, all right, he's probably gonna be like, RNG fest, a minute maybe on a good run, well, a minute maybe on a good run. He's not awful. He's not towards that, but, we're going to check him out. You're going to see his times. Let's get into it. Okay, so here we are. We're just going to pick Elemental Burst instantly restore HP because all this other stuff is a little too broken. And, yeah. So Fiorina will be, regenerating HP when she shouldn't, but that we're going to just look past that, all right? So let's go ahead and do this, and we will see that Kinich actually does pretty well on here, I would have to say, right? So we get rid of those two guys, and then oh, wow, we're getting rid of those. All right, boom. And then, yeah, look at this damage. I mean, that is... like, this is Kinich. I mean, he's C1, but, I mean, that's just worse than his actual weapon. Now, the biggest thing I would say is what we should be looking at is actually having Mavuika C2, which is only giving him 20%, defense reduction. But, I mean, hey, that's not, like, a huge amount, but it's also not, like, a nothing amount, right? So we can't, like, look at that and be like, oh, wow, too much. But, guys, nobody was running Deepwood on that set, by the way. Oh, my. Wow. Okay, I'm not entirely sure, but I'm pretty sure that Bennett should have been on Deepwood, and that would have been an even more DPS increase, and he's hitting for like 300,000 on that team, chat. That is, dude, Kinich, like, that's good, man. He was not doing those kind of numbers when I first initially got him, right? But, that's just up to whoever is using him or whatever. I don't know. But, like, dude, he did very well there. Actually, I don't even know what time he got. I'll put it, I'll start doing the times at the, like, bottom left corner of the screen or something. And, yeah, that'll be how we figure that out. Okay, so now here's the big one. Once again, we're just going to pick Elemental Burst and then restore HP because we don't really have any other, like the other things would have just buffed us too much, right? So let's go ahead, do this, and we'll have this. Now, Mavuika, I tried to say this in the Chaska video, but it doesn't seem like a lot of people realize what I was saying. Having Mavuika as a teammate is not a hindrance. It is not. It is a good thing to have because Mavuika is so strong. A lot of people took that as me saying, oh, Mavuika is doing too much for you. No, Mavuika is doing a lot of damage for you. And I mean, Kinich is destroying this. Like, I feel like this, honestly, this is better. Look, we just didn't hit that other guy. I feel like this is, like, the more AoE, the chaotic amount of enemies that are on field, I feel like the better for Kinich. He's doing this in a minute. Dude, C2 chat, like, C2 Mavuika, right? 20% defense reduction. She's doing a lot more damage than she would normally be. But these are small, low HP enemies, so I don't think that Mavuika's Q is really, they're one-shotting, and it's probably one-shotting at C0 is what I'm basically saying. Dude, less than a minute. Dude, that is great. Terrific, if you would. I mean, dude, I think we owe Kinich an apology, because I really thought he was going to struggle in AoE, but I mean, he just sat there and dominated that stage. He did that in a minute. C1, which is worse than his weapon. Had I gotten his actual weapon, we'd be dominating even harder. Yeah, I can't, like, you don't know. With Chaska, it's like, okay, has C2 Mavuika and she's doing a minute and 30. That's not good. With Kinich, it's like C2 Mavuika, he's doing a minute and 30, or a minute. And, you take away C2 Mavuika, he's probably still doing a good chunk of damage. My Fiorina is also C1, but that's just C1, which I think a lot of players, if I'm being entirely honest, I think a lot of players actually are going for Fiorina C1, because it is just a really, really strong constellation for Fiorina, and she's a good character. I mean, this certainly isn't, like, huge, right? And there you go, 500,000. I mean, like, this isn't nearly, like, dude, Kinich, yeah, okay, sure. We're on to the next enemies. I mean, this is a lot worse for Kinich. Mainly because look how far spread out these enemies are. I feel like we're seeing a bigger gap in, like, these enemies. Like, yeah, Mavuika just defeated those guys, right? So that's C2 Mavuika just defeating them. But, dude, I mean, like, yeah, just go ahead and do this. Yeah, sure. He's going to do this in a minute. I mean, let's restart this just to check because this wasn't really that great of a run. Let me go ahead, restart, restore HP and stuff. We really would prefer to have some Night Soul Drain, but I guess we didn't get any from Mavuika, which kind of sucks. So yeah, I guess we're just gonna do this. We're not even gonna have you. Hopefully we can circle back onto Bennett's Ring. Okay, circle back onto Bennett's Ring. All right, whatever. Go ahead, do that. See, this is where Kinich actually struggles with in terms of AoE. Like, this is very clearly, to me, this is what, like, Kinich is struggling with AoE. Like, we could do this, Vaporize, and then have this. Yeah, maybe Fiorina is, like, best in slot on this team. Because you would think, like, Emily, obviously. But, like, dude, she's giving reactions. Yeah, Fiorina is really useful on this team. It's tough. Like, yeah, and then we're back there. That was 300,000. Very easily doable by a C0 Mavuika. And yeah, that is where Kinich struggles within his AoE. Is when it's two opponents, big health, and they're not even able to get close enough. Because the smaller the opponents, the closer they can get, right? And the more opponents can fit into Kinich's AoE. Like, that is actually his worst case scenario. We went up against 20 small enemies. The dude still got a minute. That wasn't even like, yeah, I gotta... No, Kinich is great. I disrespected him. I was like, yeah, you know, he's good, but his AoE, you just can't really trust it. Like, you know, I can look at that and I could be like, well, sure, I have C2 Mavuika, but is C2 Mavuika making a 30-second difference? No, she's not. I don't think so. I do not think C2 Mavuika is making a 30-second difference. And as I've said many times, I like comparing characters with their C1 or their weapon. Sadly, I have Kinich's C1 just purely because I got a double multi for him. But his weapon is a even bigger increase. You know, it makes him even more consistent by giving him extra crit rate also. So this would go up to 100% if I add his weapon along with increasing his damage. I mean, it is crazy. Like, this guy is actually... He's insane. He really... I underrated the dude because I wasn't expecting him to do this well in AoE at all. That was phenomenal performance by him. Just phenomenal. I can't... Like, I mean, the dude just went in there, did a minute, and that was good. Considering that is where he should struggle, I'm going to take that absolutely every single day, right? You know, you take that with Chaska, and it's like, wow, you're at a minute and 30, and you have C2 Mavuika. You do this with Kinich, and it's like, oh, you're at a minute, and you have C2 Mavuika. That means you probably clear it within a minute and 30 if you don't have C2 Mavuika. Let's go ahead. Let's remove Mavuika. Now, that's a... Larry, listen. Removing Mavuika is not any way, shape, or form a good idea on the Kinich team because Mavuika is doing more than just being an off-field pyro applicator. Mavuika is also giving Kinich damage bonus, and Mavuika is also doing incredible off-field damage. So I'm only going to go into the second chamber because I think that's what we really are looking forward to and trying to see here. So let's go ahead and let's do this. We could have probably picked the burst damage there since no one here is doing burst damage. It was previously Mavuika that we weren't doing the burst damage for. Let's go ahead and do that. And then we have this. Homa is on Deepwood. Yeah, 320. Like, if we had Bennett on Deepwood, we would have also gained more damage, which is also another reason why maybe C2 Mavuika wasn't that big of an increase in terms of damage, right? So, yeah, dude, I can't give, like, this is just, it's working. She's strong. There's no, okay, yeah, take that to the face and then go ahead and take this. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you want this? Boom. 2 enemies. Yep. Okay, we hit that wrong. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Are we going to do a minute? Okay, we're getting frozen. Kind of bad. Okay. All right. So we have this. We have all this. Okay. Only issue here is that we didn't hit this guy at all, basically, during our thing, and we still cleared within a minute. That's AoE, man. That is Kinich AoE. They're compact, but, you know, if it's not going to be some guy, you know, like flying around, doing whatever he wants, I can't really... Like, if it's a hilly churl, and the hilly churl is, like, you know... Like, if it was a hilly churl with, like, a bow and arrow, they're gonna sit back and, like, not do anything. Whereas, you know... dude, I don't know. I can't really... This isn't bad. Let's go ahead and, you know, we'll see how well they really perform, right? Alright, so this will be the chamber that we really want to look at here. This will be the chamber. This will. Alright, let's go ahead. We do need some energy here because we don't have any for our Bennett. Okay, running around because we need to make sure we don't die. Alright, there you go. And, yeah, see, like, these guys, they're all compacting each other. Yeah, so, like, when it's small enemies, Kinich is just gonna bonk both of those guys. And then, one thing, though, is Bennett circle, kind of bad. That's one thing we gotta shout out here, Bennett circle kind of bad. Can't really do anything with that. Yeah, so this kind of sucks. Let's go ahead, keep it going, and boom, he hit all of those guys. It's just, yeah, when it's proper, like, mini enemy AoE, like, not many, we're talking, like, small, right? That's what we're looking at. I mean, like, we're removing a huge chunk of damage from C0 Mavuika. Like, C0 Mavuika would be doing a decent chunk of damage that we could benefit from. However, you know, because I have C2, we're going to remove him. I mean, dude, he's out here. He's about to clear this within a decent time. This is just Kinich. This isn't, you know, Giga buff. No, this is realistic scenario Kinich, and we're using one other 5-star on his team right now. So even if you don't want to use Mavuika on his team, he's still doing this kind of stuff, man. We are a little bit far for Toma to proc. That kind of sucks. Well, okay, here it is. We're not. This is the effect of kind of like Toma more than Kinich himself. Right, so yeah, that's the effect of kind of Toma. I was hoping that I could just hit both of these guys before that ever became an issue. Yeah, okay. So we can restart this. Let's try it again. You know, that was more of the effect of Toma, as I've been saying. And the reason for that being is because Toma, like, I gotta try and get further closer to the enemy. Because what's happening is Toma's not actually applying pyro, therefore we can't burn. So that kind of hurt us a lot. So let's go ahead and do this. Let's go ahead, make sure we're staying close to the target. I want to see maybe if I try and, you know, like, you know, quickly, you know, sprint over, try and, you know, keep the burn, trying to press the E skill here. Okay, let's keep this. All right. Fiorina is a little weird on this team because, well, on this specific scenario of Kinich team, because it is being weird. Okay, we're at no burn. Okay, we're going to want to do this. Yep, short. Boom. Okay, let's go ahead and do this. Boom again, and okay, we're done. Okay, yeah, Fiorina's E skill is kind of like a weird cooldown thing. Yeah, it's kind of messing up with Kinich here, but we'll be fine. And I mean, if you're really insane with Kinich, you can try for the 5th hit. Yeah, this is where we gotta kind of apply pyro for ourselves, and then yep, there we go. And we didn't make it. Okay, so yeah, I mean, we're low, but I mean, this is, you know, I'm gonna be honest. I tried this. I tried removing Mavuika from the Chaska team, but didn't actually go well because we did 2 minutes. It took 2 minutes to do what we did with Mavuika. Well, no, it took 2 minutes on the team. Yeah, let's go ahead and do this. Are we gonna finish? Probably could have. Yeah, I mean, he's right there though. He is right there, literally right there. And if you have Mavuika, he's there. If you have C0 Mavuika, he's there. Whereas Chaska, if you go ahead and you run a team of Chaska, Silali, Fiorina, Bennett, because that's what a lot of people wanted me to run, because they were like, stop running Mavuika with Chaska. You're ruining the game. Not really. Like, they weren't that desperate, but like, people wanted to defend Chaska, and it's like, okay, let's talk about it. Let's go through Abyss again, and I'll run the team that they wanted me to run. And that team did that time in 2 minutes, whereas Mavuika was doing it in 1:30. We just ran Kinich's bad team, and it did it in 1:30. Kind of. It was right there, right? You know, you could easily have, you know, been a better Kinich player, because I'm gonna be honest, I'm just repicking him back up. I'm literally just repicking him back up after like months of not using him, right? His weapon is a better damage increase, right? And we could talk about Chaska real quick. Is Aqua Simulacra worse than her signature weapon? Yes. Do I wish I had her signature weapon? Yes. Do I not think that it would have saved us 30 seconds? Yeah. No. It wouldn't have. It just wouldn't have. Chaska's damage isn't like what we're here for, right? I'm gonna be honest. Chaska, she can get an upgrade to her weapon, but like it's basically the same amount of damage difference as Kinich C1 versus his own weapon, right? So like, yeah, man, I was expecting him to be absolutely atrocious when I went into like doing that huge small enemy thing, but it kind of counteracted itself because all those small enemies, one, weren't like, you know, ranged enemies that you were never going to hit, right? And they would just come up to you, huddle up together perfectly so you could just use your E skill for it. So it's possible that when there's ranged small enemies, it's very possible that Kinich really starts wasting time on them, and, you know, you can't really do anything about it. It's very plausible. But in terms of, like, him versus Chaska, I mean, Chaska's going to keep doing that 2-minute. There's nothing that can change Chaska's 2-minute time on the Bennett, Sealolly, Fiorina team, right? There's nothing that's going to change Chaska's time. Whereas Kinich, you know, like, you know, at least he had this ability to, you know, benefit off of these guys huddling together, really. He handled AoE. Like, he just handled it, right? I don't want to keep talking about Chaska, but, like, I just want to point out, like, Chaska's weapon is not that big of an increase comparatively to Aqua Simulacra. And by not that big, I mean not 30-second time save big, right? If it was, that would be utterly insane, and her weapon would be regarded as one of the best weapons in Genshin Impact history. But it's not. And to bring that to Kinich, like, yeah, sure, he has a C1, but, like, he's doing good with his C1. Like, he doesn't even, like, his C1 may be worse than his weapon, but, like, he's still doing good with it. Like, very good with it. Like, I'm very confident now that, like, yeah, Kinich, top tier character, absolutely. Because what happened, like, his initial, like, run, one, he didn't have Mavuika to help him, right? So we saw Mavuika saved up 30 seconds on Kinich's time, and we saw Mavuika save 30 seconds on Chaska's time. These characters function very similarly, but instead of Kinich spreading his damage out to all enemies, instead of, you know, that, he just, you know, does the one hit and it can hit multiple enemies, which I think is just a better way of doing it, right? And overall, like, these characters are very similar in the design, which is why like, I'm comparing them so much, right? Kinich, very impressive, honestly. I have to say, I actually really think that Kinich was, he fared very well here. There's nothing bad I can say about him. Like, Mavuika could have easily, you add Mavuika to his C0 team, you add C0 Mavuika, she's going to save you time because she's going to be able to do damage off field, right? She's going to be able to do damage with her burst, right? Like, she's going to save you time, and you're going to pass that 1 minute 30 mark, right? You're going to pass that threshold very easily on a situation that Kinich should not perform bad in, or should not perform good in. Overall, yeah, good. Kinich, very good in AoE. I'm happy with it. I thought, you know, Kinich was a super heavy single target, but he turned around and he was like, no, I got this. And then, you know, he got it. He got it. So yeah, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to subscribe if you did enjoy. If you really enjoyed, feel free to become a member, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.